The BMW R18 is a strange motorcycle, especially the time when it has been launched. With the R18, BMW is trying to do and offer what American cruisers have, and that's precisely where the problem lies. The demand for American cruisers is going down every year, especially in the US, which is the largest market for these motorcycles. So, why is BMW doing this? Well, they have their own reasons, most of which sound strange, but the fact of the matter is that even in India, cruisers are synonymous with Harley-Davidson. So if BMW wants to succeed in a shrinking segment against the global leader, the R18 better be more than damn good. That's the reason why we're riding, and the question is it that good? And the answer to that isn't very simple. It's a complex one because this is BMW trying to go the American way but in a German style. Now, keeping all that aside, as far as you see the motorcycle, no matter how long you stare at it, it is an absolutely stunning machine to look at. There is no angle from where I can fault what the designers have done with this masterpiece. The R18 is a massive eye candy. Now, one of the first things that will capture the attention of most people is the fact that the R18 comes with a stunning level of attention to detail, no matter what body panel you look at. Now, in terms of design, it is an absolutely stunning machine. It is, of course, a tribute to the old R5, and it does that in magnificent style. The front, the side, even the rear, look at any part of the motorcycle, but what you will see is the fact that this motorcycle from every angle looks authentically retro, and that is where its soul and its beauty lies. As far as design goes though, the star of the show is this massive engine. This 1800cc boxer engine is of course the first thing that will capture the attention of most onlookers, and that's because of its unique layout, and of course it gives the bike a completely new design and a lot of muscle. Of course, there are other details such as the spoked wheels and the chromed out, completely authentic fishtail exhaust pipes. Now, all of these are in place to give the R18 a proper cruiser, a proper retro cruiser look. But the one piece that really stands out for me is something that the rider cannot see while driving, and that's the exposed drive shaft on the other side, which you can, as an onlooker, see as the bike moves, and you can see the drive shaft moving, and that is pure mechanical porn. So this motorcycle for me is a complete stunning masterpiece. I cannot think of any other cruiser that can really stir up emotions in anyone. This has to be the strongest point of this motorcycle. If you like this video, please share it and subscribe to our channel as well to stay updated with all Express Drive's videos. And now, let's get the game rolling. And now on to the riding experience of this stunning motorcycle. Like you would expect from a low-slung cruiser, the R18 has a low seat height of 690mm, making it easy to ride even for shorter riders. The flat and wide handlebar allows for a good riding stance, but the only issue here is the placement of the foot pegs. Cruisers have their foot pegs at the forward for comfort, but in the R18 they're more like middle set, and that's because of the engine protruding on either sides. As a result, comfortable long rides isn't exemplary despite the seat offering great cushioning and support. At slow speeds and while taking U-turns, the weight of a little over 340 kilograms can be a task to handle, but get going and all that weight disappears to reveal a motorcycle that is more agile than looks suggest. The highlight in the riding package is of course the 1802cc Boxer engine, which is the largest boxer motor built by BMW. And this motor not just looks fantastic, but goes well too. That said, One would expect an 1800cc motor to churn out a few ranches full of horses, but that isn't what BMW aimed for. The power output is healthy at 90 horsepower, but the star here is the meaty 150 Newton meters of torque available between 2000 and 4000 RPM. The engine comes to life with a nice sounding roar but pulls towards the left, and the same thing can be experienced every time you open the throttle without the drive being engaged. The engine also doesn't feel BMW like refined, but hey, that's not a bad thing as it sounds a bit raw, and these two things that in general might be equated with low refinement actually enhance this motorcycle's character. Another highlight is that this engine is paired to a 6-speed transmission and a drive shaft, and that too an exposed one, which I've said earlier looks amazing in motion. Out on the road, the R18 accelerates quickly once you're close to 2000 RPM, and the oral note is pleasing once you're closer to 3000 RPM. One can easily potter around at 55 kilometers or so in top gear without any fuss. The single disc dry clutch with anti-hop functionality means that the rear wheel won't lock or hop when aggressively downshifting. Yeah, that's slipper clutch for you in the typical complex German style. The BMW R18 feels comfortable crossing 150 kilometers, but the wind blast can get quite uncomfortable at this speed and beyond. The sweet spot then for this motorcycle is about 130 to 140 kilometers, at which it can cruise effortlessly all day. Adding to the joy of riding is the fact that the motorcycle feels far grippier and corner happy than looks suggest. The balance from the chassis and the grip from the tires is good to take on corners with confidence at a fairly rapid pace. But the downside here is the low foot peg clearance. This means that the moment you start leaning into a corner and are starting to enjoy, well, that's where the foot pegs come and spoil the party with an irritating grinding sound into the asphalt. Moving further, the ride quality of the R18 is decent at best. The front suspension offers a good 120 millimeters of travel, but the rear offers a measly 90 millimeters, which is because of the low height and the concealed rear suspension design, which by the way looks awesome. The downside with so little suspension travel at the rear is that you'll hate going over broken surfaces and potholes, as all of the force from the shock is transmitted to the rider. Add to it the middle set foot pegs and a fuel tank with just about 16 liters of capacity, and the R18 isn't really a long distance cruiser but more of an engaging machine for short and medium rides, while making a style statement that most of its American counterparts cannot. In short, despite the flaws, the riding experience offered by the BMW R18 is thoroughly enjoyable and engaging.
Who said the Germans don't have a sense of humor? Toggle across the riding modes and you'll quickly come across some German humor. These modes are named Rock, Roll and Rain, and considering the kind of motorcycle the R18 is, rock and roll goes very well with the bike. Now coming back to the original question, well, the answer now is much clearer. Quite simply, the BMW R18 is far better than any American cruiser you can buy, and that is because of the many reasons that we have already discussed in this video. Now, of course, there are issues such as the placement of the foot pegs, the stiff rear suspension, but again, these are not deal breakers. These are things you can easily overlook when you look at the entire package, the R18 as a motorcycle. But the one area for me particularly where the R18 stands out from its American counterparts is the fact that while the American cruisers feel like good motorcycles and mere machines, the R18 seems like it has its own soul. It has a kind of connect a rider can relate to. You can develop a bonding with this motorcycle. It feels as if it communicates with you, and that is what makes the R18 different from anything else on the market.